Hey everybody, how you doing today? I've gotten so many emails on how to make your own texture paint or modeling paste. So I have two recipes I'm going to give you. We've been doing these for years on the live shows, and there's recipes everywhere. And I'm going to tell you the one. I'm going to tell you the one that I use. I know many people have used, and it is awesome and very inexpensive and easy to do. I'm also going to give you another one that I've not used myself, but I know others have used it and have, had great success with it. So here we have light modeling paste, and it's a big one. And the reason I bought it was because I thought I was out of it. And then when I got home, because I'm lazy, I didn't look on the behind the shelf where I had another one. This is great. It's very light. I know people use spackle. I know they use wood filler stuff. I know, different kind of things. I can't attest to, it looks great when they use it. I don't know what the long term is. I know that sometimes it could crack. You know what I mean? If you're using it on, I think in your art journal, no, it would be fine. But for long term, I don't know. I can't speak of. So if anybody has used it as has used the wood filler or wood putty or spackle, and it's a great, a great alternative, let me know. I have not done it yet. My husband has it sitting around here. Because I have the molding paste, I don't use it. And I prefer to make my own and I'll explain why in a minute. Now, Folk Art has a great, who's from Plaid, has this texture paint, and I love it. I've bought 3 of them. I have this in brown, and I have another color, and I'm not real sure. I really should clean up my top up there. But it's the same thing, except it's colored. And this is orange. And I'm going to show you how to color yours, or tell you how to color yours. I was going to come down and bring all my stuff down and make them, but I think it's easier if I explain it to you than have this big, humongous mess. And then, that sort of thing. So here's what we're going to start doing. Okay, what you want to do is you want to either go to the dollar store and buy their mason jars, which have the lids, which are, the big glass jars. They're usually $1 or $2 for $1. What you can do is if you buy homemade sauce, ragu or whatever in a jar, or gravy, or if you get Chinese takeout, for instance, this is my Chinese wonton soup takeout that I use for my water, for my brushes, or cream cheese containers, butter containers, whatever. Save them, clean them out. I run them through the dishwasher, and you can use that to store this. It will last a long time as long as you keep it airtight and covered. So my suggestion to you is, when you make it and you have your container that you're using, take a piece of plastic wrap and lay it over the top before you put the lid on. No matter whether it's a screw-on lid, a push-down lid, whatever. You can buy from the dollar store the inexpensive, what do they call, Tupperware containers, whatever, with a lid. Whatever works for you. Recycling's the best way, I think, but whatever you have works. It doesn't matter. Anything that you can get in there. And if you have something that maybe you can stir in another bowl and mix everything in a bowl and pour it into an old shampoo bottle or a conditioner bottle, that has this that you could pour it into, that works too. It doesn't matter. So that's the first thing. So let's get it, you get your jar. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you the baby powder one first. All these items you either have at home or you can buy from the dollar store. So that's the good thing. So you can basically make this for $2 or $3, and which this is not $2 or $3. And I even use a coupon on it. I don't buy it straight up. So imagine, what you're going to save. Okay, so you want to use basically 1 part white paint, and that's white acrylic paint. And right now, Michael's this week has their Craft Smarts on sale for wicked cheap. So for all of you guys out there starting to paint, needing paint, go to Michael's. They're having big sales on the Craft Smart brand. So you can go and buy a small tube of the white paint. I think they're 2 ounces. So you use 1 part white paint, 1 part white powder, which essentially is baby powder. And then you want 1/2 of white school glue. Okay, and it doesn't have to be Elmer's or a brand name. You can buy this at the dollar store too. Staples is having big sales because back to school and everything. And that is what you need. Now, by 1 part and 1 part, let's say we're going to start a small amount because you want to try it. Or you want to do small amounts because you want it to you want like a thinner to medium, and then you want to do another one that's a little thicker. Because you can make this thicker according to what you want. So 1 part, let's say we use a 1/3 of a cup. So use a 1/3 of a cup of white paint. Pour it into your bowl. Use a 1/3 of a cup of white powder, your baby powder. Pour that into the bowl. And then use a 1/2 a cup of white school glue. Pour that into the bowl. Scrape it all in there and then stir. And I'm talking stir till like all the lumps are out and it's smooth and everything like that. Then take, what you're stirring with. I use old chopsticks or whatever I have, ends of paintbrushes or old knitting needles I can only have 1 of because my dogs ate the other one. And lift it up and see the consistency. It might be a little too runny for you. That might be something that you want to use, just as a texture on the background of a painting rather than, you know what I mean? It just gives you a little bit of texture. If it's too runny, add a little bit more baby powder and just add like a little bit at a time and stir it, a little bit at a time and stir it until you get the consistency that you want. Now this right here is, let's see. You see how that is? It's kind of like a loose toothpaste. Okay, and that's medium, but it's light molding paste. So you can get it to be like that. This other one, and always when you buy these kind of things, no matter what they are, save them, and when they're empty, wash them out, and you have these great containers. When you mix paint, when you're doing things and you're mixing paint. Now look at this one, how thick. This one's thick. I don't even know if you can even see it. It's just not wanting to clear up. Why aren't you clearing up for me? Yeah, see that? How thick? You can see the grains in it. That's a lot of baby powder. Nothing wrong with that, but that's the difference. I mean, the scales that you can go to. So that's what you'll do, is you'll just mix it to the thickness that you want. Then take a stencil that you have, or a stamp. Take a piece of, paper and put your stencil down and scrape with an old credit card or a piece of cardboard or whatever you use. You can, like when you buy new pens and stuff like that, the cardboard off the back, save it. You can use that to scrape on. Use a palette knife, whatever you have. And then scrape it on your stencil, lift it up, and set it aside to dry. Remember, you can always add more in. You can't take it out. So that's what I would do with that. Also, take another little piece of paper, cut your paper in half or in quarters, and then just, spread it out on your paper with your brush and see what you get with that, and leave it dry. You can put the heat gun on it or your hair dryer on it if you want, but just leave it dry. It'll dry quick. And then when it's dry, feel it. See if it's has a good texture that you want. The more baby powder, and with the baby powder, actually gives you more texture. If that makes sense, it gives it like this really cool texture, which I really enjoy. The baking soda one makes it much more smoother. So keep that in mind too. And I'll get to that in 1 second. But so that's how that works. So you want 1 part white paint, 1 part white powder, which is your baby powder, and a half of a cup of glue. And that's your white school glue. So like I said, if you make a trip to the dollar store, if you don't have these things at home, you're talking $3 and you got an old jar at home. You got some, you know what I mean? You mix in a bowl, and because it's all washable, you know what I'm saying? It's all like eco-friendly kind of things that, you know, you can wash. You can wash it out in the sink and everything like that. It's not going to hurt anything. Your big bowl, mix it good. Pour it into the jar that you're going to use and go to town. You want it thicker, add a little bit more powder. But I would test it first on a piece of paper and let it dry and see, do you want it a little bit thicker? Is it good where it's at? If you want it a little bit thicker, then go add your baby powder to it, which you can do in your container if you have a wide lid. Add it to your container, and then mix it. You know, add maybe like a quarter tablespoon, and you know what I mean, and kind of do your thing until it gets to the, I'm sorry, I just lost all train of thought, till it gets to the thickness that you want it. And if you really want to play, I get in moods to sit and play. What I would do is I would make a big batch, and then I would divide it into 2 containers, where one I have my thinner one, and then one I would make my thicker one. So that's an idea too. So then when you divide it, you have your thinner one, and then you can add like much more powder to the other one and make it nice and thick and chunky. That's, you know, like I said, that's how I like that. Now, the other one is you take a half a cup of baking soda, not baking powder, a half a cup of baking soda. Believe me, this is why I don't bake. I'm constantly putting in baking powder for baking soda. No, you want a half a cup of baking soda. You want a 2 tablespoons of your white school glue and 1 to 2 tablespoons of your white acrylic paint. And you want to get your, of course, an airtight container, and put your dry ingredients in, you know, first, of course, if you are doing this, and mix it together. Put in your half a cup of baking soda, and then add your 2 tablespoons of white school glue and your 1 to 2 tablespoons. I would start with 1 tablespoon of acrylic paint and mix it up. And if it's a little, how do you say? You want to mix it to a smooth consistency, but if it's a little thicker than you want, add like just like a teaspoon of water to get that going, to get it as thick, you know, as thin as you want it. I'm trying to like, okay, so I'm trying to get my thoughts together. So, okay, again, that's 1/2 cup of baking soda, 2 tablespoons of white school glue, and 1 to 2 tablespoons of white acrylic paint. I'd start with 1 tablespoon. The white acrylic paint is all it's going to do is add color. Okay, and then if it's too thick for you, start by adding like maybe like a teaspoon of water, and just go little by little until you get it to where you want it. Now, here's the fun part. Let's say we're doing a painting and you want your molding paste, but you want it to be a color. So what you'll do is you'll take your homemade, get a paper plate or a foam plate, go to the dollar store, buy the foam plates they have, or paper plates, whatever. Keep them in where you do your artwork. And take some of your homemade molding paste, and whichever way you make it, take a tablespoon, throw it on your plate, depending on how much you want for your painting. And then you go add a drop or 2 of acrylic paint, whatever color you want. Mix it up. If you want it darker, add another drop or 2 of your acrylic paint. Mix it up. And you get a great, matter of fact, I'll show you a little bit right here. While I'm sitting here. Let's see. What are you? Okay. We'll just use the back of this. Alright. So let's say I'm just going to take just a little bit. I'm not going to do a lot. I'm going to I'm pretending like this is my homemade. I will make some homemade and then use it. And let's say I'm doing a painting, but I want my molding paste not to be white. I want it to be a little turquoise. So I'm going to, a little bit more than I anticipated it came out, but that's okay. And then I'm going to mix it. And you would do this, like I said, on a paper plate. Foam plates are great. And you mix it up. Now you have a delicious molding paste that's any color you want. And do I have a painting? Maybe. Oh, I hate wasting. I hate wasting. I hate wasting. Maybe I'll do it on. Yeah. I'm going to do it on this canvas that I've been doing. And I just love these little circles. I just can't get enough. Can you tell? I'm going to do it right. Well, maybe I'll do it right there. So I'm going to move this up so you can see. Move this back. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to scrape it. And I'm just going to see how you do. You just kind of put it through. And if you're doing it the one way and it's not going through whatever you're doing it, go the other way. Let me scrape the rest off. I hate wasting. So not a waster. Although my husband doesn't understand why I have to have 6 of everything, but I think that's an OCD thing. I tell you, my hands are not doing good today. My hands are like, please stop. But I'm not gonna. I say, get with the program, baby. And you see, this has little teeth on it. It's not the best to use doing this because it's like picking up the stencil itself, as you can tell. But I'm alright. It's just hating on me. I wanted to go over that there. Alright, and I'm just going to give it a quick scrape. And then I'm going to lift it up. And you see? How cool. Now you want to make sure you wipe this off with a baby wipe or in water because obviously it will dry and you really don't want it to dry. So what I usually do if I'm doing something, I'm somewhere and I'm doing something that I can't really get to the sink right yet. I'll throw that in there. Just there. I take my water bottle and I just spray my stencil just to kind of keep it wet till I can get to it in a few minutes. But sometimes you're in the middle of doing like 20 things and you can't clean it off. And that's what I did. Excuse me, I don't mind. My goodness gracious. I don't mind my stencils having the little lumps and all that kind of stuff on it. But I know a lot of people do. I just think it adds texture. But I'm a wackadoo, so. And I'm just wiping it off real quick. Nothing fancy. Putting it there. Putting that there. And on my paper. I should have done that on a background somewhere. Look, I was upside down. Look how cool that looked. Darn it. Oh well. But you can see on here how it does. And it's going to have a lifted kind of thing and it adds your color. Now, I did bleed through because I was moving my stencil because it was lifting. I was using the wrong tool. But it wouldn't happen for you like that because obviously you would be more careful and not as quick as I. Because I am, you know, always in a hurry for some reason. Okay, so that's that. Any questions, let me know. It is so much fun to make your own. I hope that you guys do. And like I said, you can color any color that you want. So, you know, if you make a big thing of it and you take out what you need and you do it and, you know, you can have so much fun. And like I said, I'm going to do a video, I think, using molding paste and then using items from home to make different textures and stuff in it. So you don't have to go out and buy like tons and tons of things, because there are things at home that you can use and things that you can do. So I feel like, hello, hello, hello. So I hope that this was helpful to you guys, and I hope that you guys try it. Leave me a comment, leave me a message, and let me know. I love getting them. You guys really rock. And let me know how yours comes out and how you use it. I'd love to know. So have a great day, and I hope this helps everybody. Thanks, guys. Be kind to each other, because you never know what battle other people are fighting. Please. I can't stress that enough. Thanks, guys.